Welcome back to Totally Pointless, where we obsess over things that probably don't matter. But hey, at least we're not alone, right? I'm JT.
And I'm TJ.
And this drone situation, yeah, it's still bugging me.
Yeah, it's bugging everyone, let's be real.
It's like they're playing a game of how vague can we be?
We're all just craving a little transparency here, government.
Seriously. Remember those weird lights over the desert a few months back? Well, grab your tinfoil hats, folks, because things just got a whole lot weirder.
It's like they dumped a whole bucket of cryptic clues on us and said, figure it out yourselves, suckers.
Before we go full conspiracy theorist, let's give a shout out to our sponsor, Payment Solutions.
They're helping business owners save money.
Which is pretty handy when the world might be ending, right?
Yeah.
Gotta prioritize those apocalypse snacks.
Always a good idea to have some emergency funds, right? Never know when you might need to bribe an alien overlord.
Okay, so let's dive into this, shall we? We're seeing a deluge of new footage popping up online, mostly from New Jersey, but other places too. And we're not talking your run-of-the-mill drone footage here.
Right, this isn't some kid messing around with his new Christmas toy.
Like that video where it looks like an orb is shooting some kind of projectile. I mean, what is that thing firing? Space lasers? Alien spitballs?
The sheer variety and advanced maneuvers that we're seeing in these videos, it's mind-boggling.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
And what's even more interesting is that this isn't just an isolated incident.
Hold on, communicating orbs. Are we talking about some kind of intergalactic space pong?
There are multiple videos capturing these orbs, interacting almost as if they're communicating or coordinating with each other.
Coordinating with each other.
Maybe not space pong, but the footage does suggest some level of intelligent behavior.
Oh, intelligent behavior.
And that's where things get really intriguing, you know?
Yeah.
Are we looking at advanced drones? Some kind of extraterrestrial tech? The possibilities are both fascinating and terrifying.
Terrifying is right. Then there's that cloud that just seems to explode.
Okay, I admit that footage is pretty wild.
Did anyone check if Michael Bay was in New Jersey that day?
And it's not just explosions.
Hey.
There are videos of birds fleeing in massive numbers, almost like they're sensing something we can't.
It's like they're all in on the joke and we're the only ones left out of the loop.
You know, it's funny you should mention that.
Hey, birds, what's going on up there?
Many bird species are highly sensitive to changes in the environment.
Oh, you wouldn't believe us even if we told you.
Particularly to electromagnetic fields.
Oh, okay.
Could these drones, whatever they are, be emitting something that's affecting them? It's certainly a possibility worth considering.
All right, so we've got mystery orbs, exploding clouds, and birds fleeing for their lives.
It's like... sounds like a Tuesday, right?
Yeah, just another Tuesday.
But here's where things get really interesting.
Or maybe just frustrating.
The official narrative is all over the place.
It's like they're speaking in riddles, wrapped in enigmas.
On one hand, you have the FBI saying there are no restricted airspace violations. But then we hear reports of an Air Force base shutting down airspace because of these unidentified drones.
Right. Patterson, no less.
Something isn't adding up here.
It's like they're trying to convince us that 2 + 2 = 5.
Yeah.
Oh, those aren't drones. Those are just highly reflective weather balloons.
Right.
And then there's the timing of all this. The increased drone activity seems to coincide with a report from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission about a missing radioactive source.
Interesting.
Purely coincidental.
It's a detail that makes you go,
That's interesting.
maybe, but it's a detail that makes you go, that's interesting.
Okay, hold on.
Right.
So we've got mystery drones, confused officials, and now a missing radioactive source. Is this a government conspiracy or a really bad episode of Scooby-Doo?
Except this is happening in real life, JT.
Okay, let's play devil's advocate for a second.
The implications, well...
What if these drones are actually on a search and rescue mission for this missing radioactive material? I mean, wouldn't that make sense?
they could be far-reaching.
Yeah.
It's certainly a possibility.
Would make a lot of sense.
We know that unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, are increasingly being used for a variety of purposes, including search and rescue operations.
Yeah.
And they'd have the advantage of covering a lot of ground quickly and efficiently.
But if that's the case, why not just come out and say it? Why all the secrecy? Why the conflicting statements? Why are they treating us like mushrooms, keeping us in the dark and feeding us well, you know?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The government's lack of transparency is baffling, to say the least.
Let's be honest, the government isn't exactly known for its openness.
And it's only fueling speculation and distrust.
Maybe they're just enjoying watching us squirm. It's like they're saying, oh, you think those drones are weird? Just wait till you see what we've got cooking up in Area 51.
Okay, let's try to stay grounded here. Speculation won't get us any closer to the truth.
All right, so we've got the drones are searching for radioactive material theory.
We need to examine the evidence, consider all possible explanations, and remain open to new information as it emerges.
What are some other popular explanations floating around out there? Because the internet, as you know, loves a good conspiracy theory.
Oh, the internet is a breeding ground for theories, especially when it comes to unexplained phenomena.
Oh, yeah.
Some believe these are advanced U.S. drones,
Okay.
maybe testing new technology. Others suspect Chinese spy tech. And, of course, there's always the possibility of extraterrestrial involvement.
Okay, let's unpack those one by one.
Right.
Advanced U.S. drones, huh? That's not entirely out there, considering our military's technological capabilities. But if they're ours, why all the cloak and dagger stuff? Why not just own up to it?
It could be that they're testing highly classified technology that they don't want other nations to know about.
Okay.
Or maybe they're concerned about public reaction.
Yeah.
After all, not everyone will be thrilled about the idea of super secret drones flying around overhead.
Fair enough. What about the Chinese spy tech theory? I mean, international tensions are high these days. Could these drones be Beijing's way of poking around and gathering intel?
It's certainly a possibility that can't be dismissed.
Yeah.
China has been rapidly advancing its drone technology, and they've demonstrated a willingness to use it for surveillance and espionage.
Yeah.
However, we need to be careful about jumping to conclusions.
Oh.
Without concrete evidence, it's just speculation.
And then, of course, there's the alien theory.
Right.
I mean, there wouldn't be a UFO conversation without at least mentioning the little green men, right?
It's the granddaddy of all conspiracy theories.
But wouldn't that be the ultimate plot twist?
Well, it's important to keep an open mind.
Imagine if these drones were actually alien probes, studying our planet and gathering data.
We also need to be grounded in reality.
Like, hey, Steve, check out the strange hairless apes down there.
Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
They seem to be obsessed with something called TikTok.
Yeah. And so far, there's nothing to suggest that these drones are of extraterrestrial origin.
That would certainly make for an interesting episode of Totally Pointless.
But until we have more concrete evidence, it's probably best to focus on the more plausible explanations.
Okay, so we've got a bunch of theories, a whole lot of confusion, and very few answers.
Right.
What does this all mean, TJ? What are we supposed to make of this whole drone saga?
It's a puzzle with many missing pieces.
Yeah.
We're dealing with incomplete information, conflicting narratives, and a healthy dose of speculation.
So what you're saying is...
But one thing is clear.
Buckle up.
Something unusual is happening in our skies,
Yeah.
and we deserve answers.
You know, it's funny.
Right.
Back when we started this podcast, we joked about how pointless it all was. But now it feels like we're actually onto something important.
Yeah.
We're talking about unexplained phenomena, government secrecy, and the possibility of advanced technology, maybe even alien technology.
Fascinating.
Who would have thought that drones could be so fascinating?
Well, they're certainly keeping us on our toes.
And on that note, we're going to take a quick... Just kidding. We're not taking a break.
We're diving right into part 2.
We're diving right into part 2, where we'll be dissecting some of the most compelling drone footage, analyzing the official statements, and exploring the potential implications of this whole mystery. So stick around, folks. This is just the beginning.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Totally Pointless,
where we're trying to separate facts from fiction in this whole drone saga.
It's like sifting through a mountain of breadcrumbs for a single grain of truth.
And trust me, those breadcrumbs are leading us down some pretty bizarre paths. But hey, that's what makes this so much fun, right? Okay, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Right.
We've talked about all these theories, but what does the actual footage tell us?
That's the key, isn't it? We need to look beyond the speculation and examine the visuals. And some of these videos are truly mind-bending.
Yeah. Remember that one with the red orb and the smally white orb?
Oh, yeah, the one where they look like they're doing some kind of synchronized dance. Yeah. It's like a ballet in the sky, but with way more existential dread.
Right, and some people are interpreting that interaction as some kind of mid-air recharging. The idea being that the red orb was transferring energy to the smaller one.
Right.
Wait, hold up.
Mid-air recharging.
Mid-air recharge, like wireless charging, but for drones. Is that even technologically possible?
It's not as far-fetched as it sounds.
I mean...
We already have technology for mid-air refueling of aircraft.
Right.
And the concept of wireless power transfer has been around for a while.
Yeah, but scaling that up to something the size of An orb.
Right?
Wouldn't that require a massive amount of energy?
Mm-hmm.
And wouldn't it be incredibly risky? I mean, what if something went wrong? We'd have a giant electromagnetic fireball raining down on us.
Those are valid concerns.
Yeah.
And it's definitely something that engineers would have to take into account. But remember, we're dealing with technology that's potentially far more advanced than anything we're familiar with.
Okay, but if they're recharging, why do it in broad daylight where everyone can see?
That's a good point.
Wouldn't it make more sense to be a little more, discreet?
Perhaps they're not concerned about being seen,
Yeah.
or maybe they're operating under the assumption that most people will dismiss it as a hoax.
Well, they're not wrong about that.
Yeah.
I mean, even with the video evidence, it's hard to wrap your head around it. It's like, is this real life, or am I just having a really weird dream?
And it's not just the recharging theory.
Mhm.
There's another video that shows an object seemingly splitting into two distinct orbs.
Yeah, that one is crazy.
It's like a drone mitosis situation.
It looks like 1 minute it's a solid object, and then the next minute it's dividing like a cell.
Right.
Are we witnessing the birth of baby drones?
It definitely challenges our understanding of what drones are capable of.
Self-replication. Mid-air recharging. What's next? Drones that can make us coffee and fold our laundry.
It's pop.
Okay, now that's a drone I could get behind. But seriously, this footage raises a lot of questions about the level of technology we're dealing with here.
Exactly, and it begs the question, where did this technology come from?
Mm-hmm.
Who's behind it?
Yeah.
And what are their intentions?
Speaking of intentions, let's not forget about those pilot conversations we mentioned earlier.
Right.
The one where the pilot is describing a red orb zipping back and forth from the ocean.
Yeah, that audio clip is particularly interesting because it offers a first-hand account from someone who's trained to observe and identify aircraft.
He sounded genuinely freaked out.
And this pilot was clearly baffled by what he was seeing.
He even said it was moving at speeds he'd never seen before.
Yeah.
It's like those orbs are playing tag with the laws of physics.
And in the fact that he was seeing it near the ocean is also intriguing.
Yeah.
Could these drones be operating underwater as well?
Hold on.
Are we talking about some kind of hybrid drone that can move seamlessly between air and water?
Okay, now you're just messing with me. Underwater drones. That's a whole new level of weirdness.
Hey, we're just exploring all the possibilities here. And let's not forget about the birds. Remember those videos of massive flocks fleeing New Jersey? It's like they know something we don't.
Maybe they're just tired of the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
Who can blame them, right? But seriously, the bird behavior is another piece of this puzzle that's hard to ignore.
As we mentioned earlier, many bird species are highly sensitive to changes in the environment, particularly to electromagnetic fields. It's possible that whatever these drones are emitting is interfering with their navigation or causing them distress.
So these drones could be emitting some kind of signal that's messing with the bird's internal GPS, like an electromagnetic pigeon repellent.
It's a theory.
Yeah.
And it's not entirely outlandish. We know that electromagnetic fields can affect biological systems. Think about how magnets can interfere with compasses.
Okay, but if these drones are emitting these strong electromagnetic fields, wouldn't that have some effect on us humans as well?
That's a valid question. And it's something that researchers are actively investigating. The effects of electromagnetic radiation on human health are complex and not fully understood.
So basically, we could all be walking around with fried brains and not even know it. Great, just what I needed to hear.
Don't panic just yet.
Okay.
We need more research to understand the potential risks.
Okay.
But it's definitely something to be aware of.
Okay, so we've got mystery drones, potentially dangerous electromagnetic fields, and birds that are acting like they're in a Hitchcock movie. Anything else we should be worried about?
Well, let's not forget about the incident at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
Oh, yeah.
They literally shut down airspace because of these drones.
Right.
If they're so harmless, why all the precautions?
It's like they're saying, oh, these drones are totally chill, nothing to see here, but we're going to shut down a major Air Force base just to be safe. Something about that doesn't add up.
It's a clear indication that they're taking this situation very seriously. And it underscores the fact that we're dealing with something that's both unusual and potentially threatening.
And yet they're still refusing to give us any straight answers. Remember that interview with the government official who wouldn't even acknowledge the existence of the drones? It's like they're living in a different reality.
The government's silence on this issue is deafening. They offer vague statements, deflect questions, and refuse to provide concrete information. It's almost as if they're more concerned with managing the narrative than with finding the truth.
It's like they're reading from a script. We can neither confirm nor deny the existence of any such drones. But rest assured, the safety of the American people is our top priority. Blah, blah, blah.
And it's not just the feds.
Yeah.
Even the local news seems to be downplaying the situation.
Yeah.
They're reporting on it, but it's buried beneath stories about holiday shopping and celebrity gossip. It's like they're trying to lull us into a false sense of security.
Maybe they just don't want to cause a panic. I mean, can you imagine the headlines? Killer drones invade New Jersey. Run for your lives.
Well, that would certainly boost our ratings.
Yeah.
But seriously, the lack of transparency from both the government and the media is troubling.
Yeah.
It's creating a vacuum that's being filled with speculation, conspiracy theories, and fear.
And in the age of social media, that fear can spread like wildfire. People are sharing videos, speculating wildly, and demanding answers. You can't control the flow of information like you used to.
The rise of citizen journalism and social media has certainly empowered people to challenge official narratives and demand accountability.
Right.
And in the case of these drones, it's clear that the public is hungry for answers that the authorities seem unwilling to provide.
So where do we go from here, TJ? What's the next step in this crazy drone investigation? Should we be buying night vision goggles and stocking up on canned goods?
We keep digging.
Okay.
We analyze the footage, scrutinize the official statements, and connect the dots. And most importantly, we keep asking questions. Yeah.
Someone out there knows the truth.
Yeah.
And sooner or later, the truth has a way of coming out.
Well said, TJ. And on that note, we're going to... Just kidding, we're not going anywhere.
Right.
We're diving right into part 3, where we'll explore some of the wilder theories surrounding these drones, including the one about missing radioactive material. So, buckle up, folks. Things are about to get really interesting.
It's going to be a wild ride.
Welcome back to the grand finale of Totally Pointless, where we're about to go full conspiracy theory on these drones. You ready to take the red pill, TJ?
Hit me with it, JT. We've got missing radioactive material, freaked out pilots, and government officials playing hide-and-seek with the truth. At this point, I'm willing to entertain even the wildest possibilities.
Okay, so let's talk about that missing radioactive material. Remember that report from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission?
Right.
The one that vanished into thin air like a magician's rabbit?
The one that was supposedly in transit when it disappeared. Now, what if these drones aren't just searching for that material?
What if they're somehow connected to its disappearance in the first place?
Okay, now we're getting into some serious X-Files territory.
Right.
But I'm intrigued. Walk me through this theory.
What if this missing radioactive material is something far more sensitive than what's being reported?
Okay.
Something that someone might have a vested interest in stealing.
Like weapons-grade plutonium.
Potentially.
Enough to make a dirty bomb.
Or something else entirely.
Okay.
Something with a unique composition or application that makes it highly valuable to certain parties. And these drones, with their advanced capabilities, could be the perfect tools for both the theft and the subsequent search.
So you're saying these drones could be working for whoever stole the radioactive material?
It's a possibility.
Like they're the getaway drivers and the cleanup crew all rolled into one.
And if that's the case, then the government's silence makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
They don't want to admit that they've lost control of something potentially dangerous, and they certainly don't want to tip off whoever stole it about what they know.
Okay, I'll admit that's a pretty compelling theory. But who would steal radioactive material?
You're right.
And why?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you can just sell it on eBay, right?
Right. It's not your typical black market commodity. But there are plenty of actors in the world who would be interested in acquiring such material.
Like who?
Terrorist organizations looking to create a weapon, rogue states trying to advance their nuclear capabilities, even private individuals with a dangerous agenda.
So basically we're saying that these drones could be part of a much larger and more sinister plot than we initially thought. This is starting to feel like a Tom Clancy novel come to life.
It's certainly a possibility, and it highlights the importance of taking the situation seriously.
Yeah.
These drones, whatever they are, represent a significant technological leap. And in the wrong hands, that technology could have devastating consequences.
Okay, I'm officially spooked now. What are we supposed to do with this information? Should we be stockpiling canned goods and building underground bunkers?
I wouldn't recommend going that far just yet, but it is a good reminder to be aware of our surroundings, to question what we're told, and to be prepared for the unexpected.
You know, for a show called Totally Pointless, this is starting to feel pretty darn important.
Knowledge is power, JT. Even if it's knowledge about something as strange and confusing as these drones.
Well, on that ominous note, I think we're going to have to wrap things up for today.
Okay.
But we definitely haven't heard the last of this story. There are still so many unanswered questions, and we're not going to rest until we get to the bottom of it. So, to our listeners out there, we want to hear from you. Have you seen anything strange in your skies lately? What are your theories about these drones? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and maybe keep a flashlight handy. You never know when you might need it.